Hey everyone, welcome back. You ready to dive into another lesson from A Course in Miracles with me?
Always ready. These lessons always give me a lot to think about. What do we have today?
Well, today's lesson, it's
It's a good one.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. It's one of those that really get you thinking. It's, I do not know what anything is for.
Hmm.
And, we go through life thinking we know what things are for, what a table is for, what this is for, what that is for.
Yeah.
But this is kind of challenging that and saying, well, do we really?
Yeah. I mean, we think we know what a phone is for. We think we know what food is for, but this lesson really pushes us to look deeper. Like, what's the real purpose behind it all? You know?
And that's what we're going to be kind of exploring today. I'm going to read the lesson from A Course in Miracles, and then we can kind of break it down.
Sounds good.
Okay. I do not know what anything is for. Purpose is meaning. Today's idea explains why nothing you see means anything. You do not know what it is for. Therefore, it is meaningless to you. Everything is for your own best interests. That is what it is for. That is its purpose. That is what it means. It is in recognizing this that your goals become unified. It is in recognizing this that what you see is given meaning. You perceive the world and everything in it as meaningful in terms of ego goals. These goals have nothing to do with your own best interests because the ego is not you. This false identification makes you incapable of understanding what anything is for. As a result, you are bound to misuse it. When you believe this, you will try to withdraw the goals you have assigned from the world instead of attempting to reinforce them. Another way of describing the goals you now perceive as valuable is to say that they are all concerned with personal interests. Since you have no personal interests, your goals are really concerned with nothing. In cherishing them, therefore, you have no goals at all, and thus you do not know what anything is for. Before you can make any sense out of the exercises for today, one more thought is necessary. At the most superficial levels, you do recognize purpose. Yet purpose cannot be understood at these levels. For example, you do understand that a telephone is for the purpose of talking to someone who is not physically in your immediate vicinity. What you do not understand is what you want to reach him for. And it is this that makes your contact with him meaningful or not. It is crucial to your learning to be willing to give up the goals you have established for everything. The recognition that they are meaningless rather than good or bad is the only way to accomplish this. The idea for today is a step in this direction. 6 practice periods, each of 2 minutes duration, are required. Each practice period should begin with a slow repetition of the idea for today, followed by looking about you and letting your glance rest on whatever happens to catch your eye, near or far, important or unimportant, human or non-human. With your eyes resting on each subject, you so select. Say, for example, I do not know what this chair is for. I do not know what this pencil is for. I do not know what this hand is for. Say this quite slowly, without shifting your eyes until you have completed the statement. Then move on to the next subject and apply today's idea as before.
Wow.
So,
There's a lot there.
yeah, there is a lot, isn't there? And what really strikes me is that right at the beginning it says, purpose is meaning.
Right. And it's almost like it's saying because we don't truly get the real purpose of things, they end up feeling kind of meaningless to us.
Yeah. And it goes on to say that's because we're looking at it through this lens of what the Course calls the ego.
Right.
So how would you describe the ego from the perspective of A Course in Miracles?
Well, it's that part of us that's always, comparing ourselves, wanting things, always striving for something more. It's that me voice in our heads gets focused on what it wants, what it thinks will make us happy or safe. And it comes up with all these goals based on that, but they might not actually be what's best for us.
Right. And the lesson uses this example of the telephone. And we know what the telephone does. It lets us talk to someone far away. But what it's saying is we don't really know the purpose behind that connection.
Yeah, and it's like as asking, why are we even making that call? What's the deeper reason? Is it coming from a place of love? Or are we trying to get something from that person,
Right.
Like, is it really about them? Or is it about us and what our ego wants?
Yeah. So it seems like when the Course tells us to say, I do not know what anything is for.
Yeah.
It's like we're admitting that we don't really understand things the way we thought we did.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we're letting go of all those assumptions and judgments we have about things. And then when we do that, we can start to see things in a new way, maybe even a better way.
And it gives us this practice exercise to help us do that. Looking at everyday objects and just repeating that phrase, I do not know what this is for. Like, I do not know what this pen is for.
Yeah.
I don't know what this water bottle is for.
Right. And it seems like it'd be really helpful to try that with situations in our lives too, not just objects.
Yeah, absolutely. Like imagine if you're dealing with a difficult coworker. They're always grumpy, they're never happy with anything. Instead of getting all frustrated, you could stop and say to yourself, I do not know what this situation is for.
Right. And maybe that could help you see it differently. Maybe it's a chance to practice patience or compassion. Or maybe there's something you can learn from this person, you know? Maybe they're going through something tough that you don't know about.
Right. It's like it takes the focus off of our immediate reactions and helps us to see the bigger picture.
Uh-huh.
And it could apply to anything. You're stuck in traffic, you miss your bus, you don't get that job you really wanted.
Right. Instead of just getting upset, you can try to look at it with fresh eyes, and say, okay, I don't know what this experience is for, but I'm open to learning from it.
Yeah,
And maybe something good will come out of it, even if you can't see it right now.
right. Because the Course suggests that when we let go of those ego-driven goals, we open ourselves up to a greater purpose, one that actually serves our best interests.
Yeah, and that purpose, it might not always be what we expect, but it's always there. It's like there's a bigger plan unfolding, even if we can't see the whole thing.
So to kind of sum up what we've talked about today, we've learned that our perception of the world is often shaped by our ego's desires, and that by practicing this idea of I do not know what anything is for, we can start to see things with more clarity and purpose.
Yeah, and that can be really powerful, because it allows us to detach from our limited perspective and connect with something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah, it really makes you think. If we truly embrace the idea that we don't know the ultimate purpose of anything, what possibilities might that open up in our lives?
What could we achieve if we stopped trying to control everything and just trusted that there's a reason for it all, even the things that seem bad or unfair?
Something to ponder.
Yeah.
See you next time.
See ya.